All right, guys, welcome back. Here on the Morning Buzz, we have an exclusive interview with an up and coming artist out of the Bay Area. No, a
Hey.
small trip from New Jersey, guys. But Ashley Mehta has joined us rocking a San Francisco 49ers shirt or no? Or does it just say San
Yes.
Francisco? Hey, let's
It's
get
it's
it.
a vintage 49ers, but what's going on?
Vintage.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you for coming
excited to do
on.
this with you. Of
Yes,
course.
everyone's been wanting it for years. It's been highly requested by the world.
Hey, let's
But we're
go.
gonna jump in. First question of the day, pretty basic, but what led you
Yes.
to start making music?
Yes. I've actually been okay, generic answers. I've been singing for as long as I can remember. But when I went to high school, that's when I started using like songwriting kind of as my outlet. I learned how to play the guitar and I was like, okay, I love doing this. I feel like it's my most expressive and creative form of, letting out emotions of any sort. And after I started songwriting, I kind of was like, okay, let me like I could tell that it was something I was very passionate about and something I always wanted to do. And when I got to college, I just recently graduated from San Jose State actually. And when I
Hey,
got to college,
congrats.
thank you so much. When I got to college is when I was like, okay, what is it? Like what do I want to do? Like I came in undeclared and I was just really trying to figure it out. And I always knew it was music and I always knew it internally, but it was something I think I was a little bit afraid to say because it's like a scary thing to do sometimes is to really just like follow that dream. But once I just kind of let go of that like fear and I was like, you know what, like I know I can do this. Let's rock this. I started writing more music. I started working with more people and I finally like got the guts to say like this is what I want to do for the rest of ever. And so from that moment I kind of just started diving into working with more people, collaborating, figuring out my sound, and that kind of has led me here.
Here we are. Okay, so you said you're figuring out like your sound throughout. How do you go about that, Because everyone has like their
Yeah.
own strategy and you notice it through a change in like artists' music over time. Like every song
Yeah.
is kind of different. At least that's what you would want. So what has that
Yes.
process been like for you finding yourself almost in your music?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely been a challenge, but a good challenge. And it also helps me find out a lot more about like who I am as a person too, and what I want out of things. And I think my biggest goal is to definitely be as unique as I can as an artist. And I kind of have ranged from genres. My first song was like an R&B pop song, and then I started going into like some a little bit of a trap hip hop song, and then some EDM. I was in like the EDM scene for like a good minute, and while I was there, I was like, you know what? Like, I love doing this stuff. Like, I genuinely loved it. But I was like, there's something bigger here, though. I was like, there's something more that I haven't reached yet, but I know I want to. And it was this now unique R&B pop influence, also electronic and hip hop influence, like melodies and production. And so now my producer and I have been working. His name's Romy, and he's amazing. We met in college, and he's also one of my best friends. So it's great to have that like chemistry and dynamic working with him because I feel like he totally understands what I want without me even having to say it.
Hmm.
And coming from like living in the Bay, there's that Bay Area sound too in our music that's very like simplistic, but at the same time, like the word we use is hyphy, like it has that energy to it. And so with that, like we've kind of just been experimenting. Like that's the whole thing. It's like trial and error, like seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like. And I think the biggest thing for me is like that energy that you feel from the music. Like how does it make you
Hmm.
feel? Like regardless of how it sounds, like do you feel good? Do you feel like it's intuitively right for you? Like does your gut say yes to this? And you kind of just listen to that and you're like, okay, I'm starting to see like this direction I'm going in. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I've been loving the stuff that we've started to like dive into. So it's been a crazy journey, but a great one.
That's cool. Okay, so you mentioned Bay Area, right?
Yes.
Growing up, what were your like inspirations growing up musically? It could be Bay Area or really anywhere.
Yeah, just like my mom always had the radio playing, like even in the house, our radio, like to this day, there's always like a sound on. Like if the TV's not on, then it's like the radio's playing. Like there's not too much silence that goes on in terms of like music and stuff, which is awesome. So as the radio was on, it was always those like top hits, like the pop songs. I also loved like Michael Jackson and really like more almost, yeah, as I said, like top 40s mainstream artists. I think I started to like go into like a R&B realm recently too, of like
Mm.
Kaylani, and she's from the Bay, and we have hers from the Bay. And so there's like a lot of artists that literally like came from the Bay. There's Remy Wolf. I don't know if you've listened to her, but
I've
she's,
never listened to her.
oh
I'll
my
put it on the
goodness,
list.
you have to. She is amazing, and she's like just creatively, like when you listen, you'll know. But I've just recently found out like she's from the Bay too, and it's just crazy to me because like yeah, all of these influences have definitely played like a huge role in my music too, whether it's melodically or just stuff that I gravitate towards. I'm just like, oh, I like that, you know.
Yeah. So we live in a very much social media world, that's
Correct.
how I got in contact with you. Instagram, for those who don't know, Instagram's down. Terrible. We're gonna
Oh,
push that aside.
terrible.
I know. Terrible.
Forget about it.
Um,
We're on the phone together.
for real. So how have you used social media to, I guess, spread your music to more people?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because especially now, and with the entire pandemic, it was the biggest way to do that, to spread music. And as I was talking about like trial and error earlier too, I think even with new apps like TikTok has been one of the like most helpful apps towards my career, along with Instagram.
Yeah.
And as much as it's down right now, it's still one of my besties. So literally like, and it's just something I've learned this year too is just like that consistency in posting and being as like yourself as possible. And I noticed that especially through TikTok is like, I'm really just in my room writing music and putting my phone down, recording it, and hoping someone likes it at the end of the day, when I post it. And so it's cool to see the engagement and, actually like chat with people on there, even if it is virtual, like it's something and it's some sort of like social interaction. Um, which has been such a huge help to my career. And it's actually also helped me figure out like sounds that I like more, or like art. Like I started doing a lot more R&B stuff on TikTok, and I see like what people like too, and I'm like, okay, you guys like this stuff, like I want to see what else I can find in that realm, while also like because I love it too. So it's very helpful. It's awesome.
Yeah. What's interesting is I feel like every time I do an interview with a musician now for the station, it's always I find them either through like the bottom. You know how sometimes Spotify will recommend people on like the bottom of like if
Yes.
you scroll down on someone, I'll find it through there. I'm like, oh, I like their sound. Let me shoot my shot pretty much. Or
Yeah,
I'll see it scrolling through TikTok. Someone be like, you gotta check out so and so. And I'll be like, all right, let me check them out. And then they're actually
that's
like super amazing. So
awesome. That's sick.
uh
Yeah.
it really is. And I like when people use their platform to put other people on the platform, you know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
it's super, there's obviously bad parts about TikTok and all these other things, but I like to focus on the positive parts.
Right. We're optimistic over
Yeah,
here, right?
stay positive.
Exactly.
But one cool thing about you is that you are a mixed person, Filipino
I
and Indian, right?
am.
Yes. And
Yes.
that's super dope because I feel like now, especially in America, we're getting a lot more representation in entertainment, music, all this stuff. So, how does that feel for you, being able to represent really two sides that don't really get much?
Yeah, it's honestly like I feel very blessed. I think that's the best word to, describe it. And I really feel like there's a reason behind not only why, like I have a voice to share, but also like have both of my ethnicities to share as well and to represent. And I think at the end of the day, I just want to do the best that I can in that realm. And when I see other, Asians also like representing, I'm like, yes, like we need this, and it excites me. And at the end of the day, I just want to be that person that someone can see and they're like, okay, like I know that I could do this too, and like if we set our minds to it, we can all do it, and everyone's capable of everything. And yeah, that's just like my biggest thing with that. and I love both the cultures too. They're very fun cultures, and to
Mhm.
really implement that into my music and who I am as an artist has just been also like such, yeah, again, such a blessing to do. It's crazy.
Really, once again, that's super cool.
Thank you.
My next question is, I'm gonna switch it up. We've been asking a
All
lot of
right.
music questions, so I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit and ask you
Okay.
some. I like to call them not really rapid fire because you can go into as much detail as you want, but they're more like I'm an East Coast person, you're a West Coast person, so I would
Right.
love to know more about the West Coast.
All right.
So, throughout my life, I've heard nothing but great things about In and Out. So, from a West Coast perspective, is In and Out as good as they say it is?
I was not expecting you to ask that, but yes, it is 100%. No, literally, like when people move from here, like to go to school or whatever, just to move to the East Coast, um, they're always like, the one thing I'm gonna miss is In and Out, and that just proves how great it is. It proves it. So you've never had it in your life?
No, never.
Oh my goodness, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the furthest west I've gone is Indiana.
Dang,
Yeah, Indiana.
that's
And that's you don't
crazy.
want to go to Indiana either. Respectfully, but Indiana sucks.
Respectfully, respectfully.
Yeah, as long as you're respectful about it, then you could say whatever you
Yeah,
want to say
yeah.
after.
There we go. Exactly. You smart.
Anyways, another food related question now
Yes, please. I love
is
food.
yes, who doesn't, right? I feel like you
Right.
could talk about food for hours upon
I
hours,
know.
but East Coast, we have Dunkin' Donuts. I'm a ride or die for Dunkin' Donuts. All right.
Okay.
West Coast has Krispy Kreme.
Right.
Now, I'm assuming there probably is a Dunkin' Donuts in.
Yes.
Okay. Have you had both? Is
I
there
I
clearly
have.
one better than the other?
You know, I have to say that they're both very different. Like Dunkin' Donuts is
Hmm.
definitely more of like a, I feel like those lean in the more traditional donuts where Krispy Kreme is more of like a, how do I say this? Like it's more of, I feel like Krispy Kreme donuts caters more to Krispy Kreme, like its own brand, but Dunkin's like a, okay, we're Dunkin' Donuts, but also like with the donuts that have been donuts for the past however long donuts have existed.
This
You
is
know
the
what I'm
donut
saying?
episode right
No, this is
here.
the donut. What were
Yeah.
we even here for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no, but their
know,
coffee's fire.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
Yeah, the Dunkin' Donuts coffee
Oh,
is fire.
absolutely. Nothing but love for Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
I love them. Anyways, we're gonna ask
Super
a
fan over
couple
here.
more. Yeah. I did work at Starbucks though, so I don't know
Oh,
how
you
much of a
did?
fan I was. Yeah. There's a reason I'm
Dang.
not there anymore. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
PTSD.
we can't go into
Um,
that today.
we cannot go into that.
Another interview for that one.
Yeah.
I'll interview you for that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So back to music related.
Yes.
You can't you have performed live before, right?
Yes, I have.
Is and
I have.
two questions are going to come into this. First is what is
Okay.
that feeling like when you first hit the stage and you start singing your music?
Oh my goodness, it is the most surreal thing ever. And as of recently, we've been doing more shows as things have been opening up a little bit more safely. We've been doing it. And it is just like the crazy, like I played a show like a month or two ago in Berkeley, and that was my first one that was more of a bigger venue. I feel like I used to play more like if it was virtual, it was virtual, or I would do like coffee shops or like bigger coffee shops or smaller venues, but that was my first like big show where I was actually performing like the new music that I've been making too. And the moment I got on stage, like if I was nervous beforehand, like that just slipped away. I was just like, oh my goodness, like it was, it's hard to describe, but it just felt very like right to be up there. And I was living off that for the next like 3 weeks too. I'm still
I
living off of
bet.
it, to
Yeah.
be honest. Like I was like nonstop smiling. It was crazy, but I love it. I love it so much.
Well, that's my questions for the interview, guys. That's what I got. I guess I do have one more question for you before
All
we
right.
say goodbye. Is where
Yes.
can they find you?
Yes, you can find me at Ashley Meta, Mehta, Ashley Meta Official on Instagram, and then Ashley Meta Official on TikTok, and just my name everywhere else. But yeah, if you check me out, let me know. Let me know what you guys think. And thank you again for having me. Such a fun conversation.
Thank you for coming here on the Morning Buzz. We appreciate you.
Of
Ladies and
course.
gentlemen, Ashley Meta.